Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hanklish Podcast. I'm your host, Hank, and today we're diving into something that frustrates almost every English learner at some point. You know that feeling when a word seems familiar, but you're not quite sure what it really means. Or worse, you think you know, but it turns out you don't? Yeah, English words can be super confusing. But why is that? Let's unpack it. So here's a weird thing about English. Sometimes the word you hear isn't the problem. It's all the baggage that comes with it. One word can have 3, 4, even 10 meanings depending on the context. Think about the word run. You can run a marathon, run a business, run your mouth. Same word, totally different vibe. And that's just one example. Now, if your first language is more direct, where one word equals one meaning, this flexibility can feel overwhelming. It's like English is this shapeshifter that never sits still. And that confusion, it's not your fault. It's baked into the language itself. Here's something I want you to remember. English wasn't designed to be easy. It evolved from a mashup of other languages, Latin, German, French, Norse. So many influences came together and they didn't clean up the mess. They just added to it. That's why you'll find two different words that mean almost the same thing. Or worse, words that look the same but don't behave the same at all. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine once told me he was watching a movie with subtitles. The line was, "She broke down." So he paused and said, "Wait, what did she break?" And that's a totally fair question. Breakdown can mean a car stopped working, or someone started crying, or someone lost control emotionally. It doesn't always involve physically breaking anything. That's the kind of thing that trips learners up. The phrase might make no literal sense, but it's totally normal in spoken English. Here's another twist. Even native speakers don't think about this stuff. To them, it just feels right because they grew up with it. So when you try to translate word for word from your language and it doesn't match, that's when confusion hits hard, but that's also where learning happens. So how do you deal with it? Well, instead of memorizing one meaning per word, start noticing how words work in real life. Watch how they're used in shows, conversations, or YouTube videos. Listen for patterns. Don't get stuck trying to translate everything in your head. Train your brain to connect meaning to situations, not just definitions. And one last thing. Don't be afraid of getting it wrong. Confusion is part of the learning process. Every time you bump into a word that confuses you, that's an opportunity. That's your brain saying, "Hey, I want to learn this." And the more curious you are, the faster you'll get it. Actually, I'd love to hear from you. Is there a word or phrase in English that always confuses you, no matter how many times you hear it? Send me a voice message or leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. I might even include your example in a future episode. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're enjoying the Hanklish Podcast, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening, and share this with someone who's learning English too. Keep going, keep growing, and as always, speak boldly. Catch you in the next one.